Again in our beach studio, and we have had
Makes sound like we're really rich. Not that case at all.
we get to come here once a year. Come on.
Really, really cheap.
Yes. Um, so we've had some. Well, we just talked about the jobs coming back to America, and how the cost of everything's going up. But then also people want to um, raise minimum wage, and there's another cost factor that um, plays into everything.
Well, I think we need to talk about how that happens and if it happens and what it means. It's a major plank in the Democratic platform to raise the minimum wage. The number that's thrown out is $15 an hour, and they talk about it in terms of a living wage. So, you ever work minimum wage?
Yeah, when I first started in 1975, I think was my first job.
Yeah, it's gone up quite a bit, hasn't it?
Oh my gosh, when I was making what? I don't know, 285.
Yeah, I made 225. What? No, 215. No, I talked them into 225. They did want to start me at 215.
Mm.
Anyway, um, but there's some things people misconceptions about minimum wage. One is they think that a lot of people don't realize that different states have different minimum wages,
Right.
and the federal government doesn't set the minimum wage for everybody. In California, it's 10, somewhere around $10 an hour.
No, I thought we were
In
last at like 925 or
no
915.
975 or something.
Okay.
New York's pretty much the same. There's others that are all the way down to five something, and the federal is at five something. So the idea of it being a livable wage, tell me, does it cost the
Uh,
same to live in Los Angeles as it does in Florida or Mississippi or Louisiana or someplace?
oh my gosh. Well, I just look at the price of gas that differs between state to
Yeah.
state.
There's the price of gas,
I
there's the
think
price of housing, the
we
price of
pay we
everything.
pay the highest of anybody.
So the idea of putting up a single standard that covers all the states is really it's great for the states that have low cost of living. They're a big huge increase for them, and they're doing fine. And $15 an hour is a livable wage.
Yeah, really.
California, it's not, um, or especially some or big cities in California. Anyway, so that's one of the fallacies of it. The national government should set the wages all the way across the country. In my opinion, it should be left to the states. Let the states do it so that it matches the cost of living closer to where they are,
In their state, right.
because it differs across the country. Another one is the minimum wage intended to be a livable wage?
Not in my book. That's an introductory
Mm-hmm.
wage. Most of the jobs that are, original minimum wage, those are your start out
That's
jobs.
like the job you get in high school or right out of high school.
Right.
You're working for minimum wage, and then hopefully you progress and move up and make a livable wage. But
Right.
this is something to get you used to working. You're living with your parents, whatever. You have multiple incomes into the family, into the household, and there needs to be a starting wage, and I think it needs to be below a livable wage. Can you imagine? We have seven kids. Wouldn't you love all of them living at home, all making a livable wage?
Hmm.
We would be so rich as a household. Uh, that sounds great.
Right.
So I think that's another fallacy that a a minimum wage needs to be a livable wage. Do I think that it should be higher than it is? Yeah, I do. I do think it could go up. Unfortunately, when you create a minimum wage, a whole bunch of companies run to the bottom. You know, they feel like, oh well, we don't need to pay anybody higher than that, and they tend to stay at the bottom rather than go, we're going to pay a little bit more. There are some places that they Starbucks pays more, and
In and out.
In and Out, and
Mhm.
um, Chick-fil-A, and a number of them pay higher than minimum wage, and people like working there. And I think they get better workers. So, yeah, another aspect of minimum wage, we're running out of time, but if you remember last time they raised minimum wage, you could go to McDonald's and you get a meal for about $3, maybe
Mhm.
$4. They raise minimum wage. What happens? Everybody starts raising their prices in order to pay their workers minimum wage, and you get this inflation cycle. Now you go to get a meal at McDonald's, and it's $5 to $8 for a meal.
Right.
And then people are going, well, gee, making minimum wage, I know can no longer afford this stuff. And you get this cycle that goes, okay, we raise minimum wage, the prices for things go up, the cost of living goes up, we need to raise minimum wage again. And you just drive up inflation. And I'm not sure that that's a healthy cycle either.
Right. And then they start getting rid of people and automating things so that you place your own orders for your food.
Right. Well, I
Just
go into Home
punch
Depot
your-
now, and there's one checker at self checkout that handles four checkouts instead of one, and that happened as a result of the last raise in minimum wage. It may have happened anyways. Personally, I make a point of going to the one that has somebody check me out because I think we should try and be employing those people.
Right.
So, but those are the kind of things you fight when companies are trying to continue to keep their profit margins and such. They have more people do the job of fewer. They automate. They do all kinds of things, and minimum wage pushes those things, including companies going overseas,
Right.
because if they can, they will. All right, enough for that. I think that covers it. Just so you understand how it works and what the consequences are. Not that it's bad, but it's has
Vicious
problems of
cycle.
itself. For every solution, there's a new problem.
Right.
All right.
All right.
Good night. Talk to you next time.